I was very pleased to hear that we had won the Smitty Award, the Travel and Leisure Award for the independent journalist and blogger. One of the things that pleased me most is that they emphasized the podcast, and we've done over 400 episodes, as they mentioned, with over 1 million downloads a year. And so it's nice to get some recognition for all the work that goes into that. We put in more than 8 hours of work into every episode, and we cover nations, we cover different destinations all over the globe. So that was pretty cool. Amateur Traveler the podcast came first, the audio show, and it came basically about 9 years ago. The idea for Amateur Traveler started at a Memorial Day picnic. We had some friends over and we were telling stories, and the best stories were travel stories. And so really the idea for Amateur Traveler came there. And originally the thought was that it would be all about my travel stories, but it very quickly turned into talking about other people's travel stories and became an interview show, talking about destinations that I have never been to and some that I will probably never get to. We've interviewed people who've been all over the world. We talk about everything from when you go to Chicago, what should you get on your Chicago dog, to going to Tonga and swimming with whales. The listeners of Amateur Traveler tend to be very varied in age, but they tend to be a fairly well-educated group. We tend to go and focus in on the history and culture as we're talking about a particular destination, and I think that's probably what brings an educated listener to listen. But they come from all walks of life. We have people who say they discovered the Amateur Traveler and helped them get through that bus ride from hell in Morocco, and we have other people who say they haven't started traveling yet, but they're listening while they sort mail in the post office. A lot of people are listening while they're walking the dog or while they're working out or various other activities. Probably the best one I've heard was the people who were biking across the world, biking across Asia at the time that we connected, and they were listening to the Amateur Traveler in their tent at night. So that was probably the best story. In terms of stories that our guests have told, one of the ones that sticks out to me is Andrew and Frida Grant, who were biking through Iran. And that's certainly a nation that we hear a lot about, but we don't hear a lot of positive things. They had a more positive experience as they were doing that. They stopped one time to use a payphone, and the payphones are apparently notoriously unreliable in Iran. And so a man stopped by to say, here's my cell phone. Do you want to use it to call? Because I understand you might be having some problems. And then another man stopped by, and another, and another, and another. And they sent me a picture of 5 men on 5 different phones calling 5 different embassies as they were trying to arrange visas for their further travels. And they told another story about biking up a hill, and it was a very long hill, and one man was worried that they were going to make it. And so he followed them for an hour, slowly driving behind them just to make sure that they cleared the top of the hill. And when they did, he waved and went about his way, but he just wanted to make sure that they were okay. And those are the stories of hospitality and of personal warmth that we get all the time on Amateur Traveler. You can discover the Amateur Traveler at amateurtraveler.com, and then you can also listen to Amateur Traveler at various places like iTunes and Stitcher Smart Radio. We also have a streaming radio version on live365.com, so it's fairly easy to discover. And then we have videos up on YouTube on my channel and blog posts all the time on amateurtraveler.com. So check it out and see why Travel and Leisure recommended it.